But I'm going to start a new game. I'm so excited. I don't know anything that's happening or going to happen. I know nothing. I am going in blind. Introduction. Samira Ramani. Oh, I'm kind of blocking where it says start the chapter. Hopefully that won't be an issue. It just says start the chapter behind me. I can blur myself out entirely so you can't see me at all if you want. Hopefully that doesn't cause a problem. Look at this. It's just like Heart of the Forest. So Heart of the Forest, when it came out, it wasn't Werewolf 5th edition was still in development. So it's a little different. And now obviously Werewolf 5th edition has come out. So we have Harano, we have our Rage up here. Oh, this is so good. Oh, so excited. Depression or eco-terrorism? I mean, do we have to pick? Can we not do both? I would love to do both. Introduction. I am Samira Ramani. I'm probably saying that wrong. Anyone can correct me. For sure saying that wrong. A Garu of Afghanistan. Sworn to fight alongside my fellow werewolves to protect Gaia and her inhabitants from the worm. Rage drove every step as I tore my enemies to pieces over and over again. But the humans have taken too much, and anger battles despair as I wonder, are they even worth fighting for? In this game, the choices you make will affect who you were, who you are, how you fight, and who you will become. So Samira Ramani, it is time to choose. What is your story? Exciting. Exciting. I'm sorry, I'm a very excitable person. Introduction. I am Samira... No, we already read that. Over here. Physical skills. Choose one physical skill. Using a skill can be risky but rewarding. Athletics, stealth, or survival. I think, because I never do this, and as someone who is currently right now secretly behind the scenes running a Werewolf the Apocalypse Chronicle for some friends of mine, because I'm trying to get as good a grasp on the system as I have on Vampire the Masquerade, I would like to do stealth. I find stealth to be really hard in Werewolf because brutal outcomes are so frequent, at least from what I'm running, and you try and be stealthy and you're just gonna fail at that real hard. The rage in you is gonna say, nope, not today, buddy. Stealth, yes. Oh, hi, Alira. Hi. This might know better as Theo or Thea over on Twitter. Stealth, yes. Spying, sneaking, and blending in are your areas of expertise. I mean, I'd like to try it. And honestly, it's way harder as a werewolf than as a vampire to be sneaky. Way harder. Your physical skill is stealth. Learning to move silently and becoming nearly invisible in the Hindu Kush mountains has enabled you to evade enemies and shadow your prey. Exciting. Social skills. Choose one social skill. Animal ken, intimidation, or persuasion. So... Again, going off of me playing Werewolf, Animal Ken is good. I mean, animals will be afraid of you, like regular animals, because they know that you're a werewolf. But there are some certain, I believe it's a Theurge? It's an auspice gift that lets you communicate with, is it a Galliard gift? Might be a Galliard gift. That lets you communicate with animals. That might be cool. Animal Ken, tame all the bunnies. We're on the same page, chat. Look at us. We're doing it. Me and you, we're doing it. Played Earthblood and literally just massacred and Krynos the entire game. Yeah. Still accessible mission if there was no witnesses left. Yeah. So, I'm not going to say anything negative about Earthblood, but it just wasn't the type of game for me because I play a lot of like drama based. I have to think of it in terms of the TTRPG. So I play a lot of drama based, emotionally driven games. Like all my games are emotionally driven. And I just kept thinking to myself, and I understand that, this was Pentex and they are, servants of the worm. But I kept thinking like, these guys aren't going home to their kids. These guys aren't going home to their kids. Every time I massacred huge waves of humans, and it didn't feel great. Not that you werewolves are the good guys, but I still don't want to feel like a total piece of crap all the time. Not all the time, anyway. Tempted to take skill glyphs as canon. I mean, I would. I think they're great. I might. I would have loved Earthblood more if it was just a straight up brawler. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say, Koshiro. That's what I'm trying to say. Exactly. Gaia's most bloodthirsty are rude. So we're going to go Animal Ken, just because I think it's... animals usually avoid the Garu, but your ability allows you to manage and befriend them. I think that'd be fun. No one in my game has attempted with Animal Ken, and so I think it would be fun, actually, to have this. See if it comes in handy at all. I mean, this is just the demo, but we'll see in the future if it comes in any handy, because I'll try and remember these and make these same when I play this when it releases. A friend to local wildlife in your youth, you learned how to manage creatures of all sorts, predict their behaviors, and identify markings. Yay! Choose one mental skill. Ooh! The occult, medicine, or technology. Okay. Prepare for me to be controversial. No one wanted to play Glasswalker in my game. I like the idea of urban werewolves. I really, really do. I'm not doing urban werewolves in the game that I'm running, but I love the idea of the Glasswalkers, of the urban werewolves. I love how close they are to, like, they are so close to the Weaver that they are, you know, real close to sliding right into like a status quo, a stasis. It's real dangerous with them. That's the impression I get from 5th edition. And I would love to do technology. Nobody liked Glasswalkers? Have you tried fighting it less? No, it's not that nobody liked the Glasswalkers. That wasn't it. It's just nobody wanted to play the Glasswalkers. Because I played with these people. We do Vampire, and of course Vampire is completely urban, and there's so much urban going on that they wanted to play a tribe that was less urban, and my dog is barking, less urban and more wild-based, in sense, you know, like we have... well, we do have a Bone Gnar, but we have a Gale Stalker and someone who... My dog does not like this conversation. Too much talk. He thinks I'm talking about other dogs, obviously. How does one join in my group? Oh, right now this is just private. I'm just playing with my friends. Just people I have played with before who also know the system, because I don't know the system that well, and I'm just trying to get used to it. Real Glasswalkers are catastrophically indebted to the computer. Yeah, absolutely. Wonder how rural vampire could you be if you really tried. Gangrel. Gangrel would be really good as a rural vampire. Maybe Ravnos, too, for certain different reasons. But I'd like to try technology, a proficiency in handling modern technology from computers and phones to surveillance systems. I really like the Glasswalkers. I think they're really cool. Yeah, we have a Red Talon and Galstalker, and, you know, it's a little bit more, less human-friendly. Good running, make a Lupus Glasswalker. Oh, a Lupus Glasswalker, that's so cool. What a cool idea. I would never do that myself. I'm too intimidated to try and play a Lupus, like, in roleplay. But that's amazing. I'm gonna run a pretty rural VTM game soon. Ah, I love that. You should post about it on Twitter so I can read about it. Computer and electrical systems have an order to them, something that attracts both you and the Weaver spirits that occasionally inhabit them. Exactly. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. Let's play the game. Would take all the time doing this. Oh, I didn't read this. Why did I not read this? Rage filled my heart the day my parents died, the day my country was taken over yet again, this time by forces from within. As a Garu, I could finally do something about it all. Rage is a double-edged sword. Low rage allows you to make wise decisions, but your caution may cause you to falter when action is needed. High rage can enable you to fight against the evil that consumes your world, but it can also overwhelm, threatening to destroy the humanity within. Low, medium, or high? I mean... I kind of want to pick high, but that's probably my bad decision making from the Book of Hungry Names talking. I kind of want to pick high. I mean, listen, look at this. Let's think about just where Samira came from. She comes from a war-torn country. Her parents are dead, and she believes that the worm may have something to do, maybe not directly, but the worm benefits from every, horrible thing that causes entropy, destruction, and misery in the world, right? So I think I would assume high rage. No? Rage! Oh, man. Don't worry about how much I'm talking. I could talk forever. I am American, and I talk a lot. I'm American, I'm from Boston, and I talk a lot. It's also a holiday here in Germany, so I shouldn't be talking this loudly or a lot, but I am ignoring that to play this. Remember, being balanced means being weak. I don't believe that, but... I'm from South of Boston. You're from Southie. I'm not from Southie, but a lot of family there. Spent a lot of time there. Fuck the consequences. Let's fight. Yeah, let's do it. Your rage is high. I am the first to enter a fight and the first to start one. I love playing a rune as well, so I might, if I get to pick the auspice. Ooh, depression, yay! Too real. Depression is what the doctors call it, but to Garu, Harano is a state of despair, unique to werewolves as you face repeated losses in your fight against the worm. Be warned, high Harano will cause your decisions to be clouded with despair, and you will be unable to shapeshift into your Hispo or Krynos form. The apocalyptic fight may be bleak, but you are armed with skills, rage, and a pack of savage, like-minded werewolves by your side. Now, that's interesting. High Harana will cause you to be unable to... That's not, like, book accurate, but that's super interesting, and I like that as a mechanic a lot. I love resource management. Hurt me, make me hurt. I love it. A like-minded werewolves by your side. In a world like this, will you fight the endless battle, or will despair consume you? Hi. I have to. Why? Why not? Never before have I seen a depression slider in character creation. It's great. I'm loving it. You give me more. Hurt me more. Your Harano is low for now. Okay. All right, I see what you're doing. Are you trying to help me out? Are you trying to let me know that I make bad decisions? Because I already know, and I want to continue making them. I am Samira, but this never-ending war has become too much, and I can feel myself slowly giving in. That's right, girl. It's rough out here for everyone. Character sheet. To review your choices, check out your character sheet and journal. Look for it in the upper right corner of the screen. You can find loads of info about Samira, her background, personality, goals, and so on there. I have a friend named Samira, so it's weird for me to keep saying it. Because I'm going to picture her. She's from Iraq, though, not from Afghanistan. Honey's hurt me more gets me. I mean, obviously, either Buddy von Schlund. That happens all the time. People call me Buddy instead of Honey because it's an autocorrect. One, you should watch any game that I've run because I often play with people who want to be hurt by me. And two, in the only Chronicle I've ever played in, I went to the storyteller and I was like, here is my sheet. Absolutely destroy me. And they said, you got it. Journey's End, or Journey's Earth. I'm sorry, I didn't read it. I'm too excited to play. Across the border, run, whispered the moon. Ooh. I prepared to fight because I have a huge amount of rage. I was tense, on guard, and ready to fight, but the bone-white snow and the stark trees that surrounded us were bereft of life. Katsim ran by my side, my hand gripping his thin arm as we raced alongside the border of Belarus and Poland, searching desperately for a way through the barbed wire, fencing that pitilessly barred our way. The cutting, raging snow blinded our eyes in the freak storm, a series of bad luck in the never-ending tragedy that had begun months prior when the Taliban had overtaken my country once more. Hurry. I felt a clawing of panic within me. The guards were no match for a werewolf, but Katsim, my brother, was only a human, and a child at that, and the guards would not hesitate to strike him down. Damn, that's an opening. Holy crap. High rage. I wanted to destroy them all before they had the chance. Tendrils of red began to suffuse the corners of my vision when I felt a small hand grabbing mine. I need to turn... This is way too loud in my headphones. I'm going to The fury instantly abated as I took a deep breath, squeezing Katsim's hand reassuringly. It's all right, I promised. My voice carried away on the howling wind as he smiled, pretending to believe it. This border was meant to be our last hope, our promised entry to the EU after the long, treacherous journey from Afghanistan. Instead, hope had turned to horror as we found scores of gaunt refugees crowded together in an undulating sea of desperation that pushed fruitlessly against the border. Families cramped and huddled around fireplaces and within ragged tents, if they were lucky. I mean, this is obviously, real life events going on here in the story. And yeah, I moved to Germany shortly after the first refugee crisis out of Syria, and yeah, it was horrible to watch these images on screen. Absolutely horrendous. I'll say we were one of the lucky ones, which of course we weren't. I will say we were one of the lucky ones. You play the same way. Give me drama, give me challenge, give me trauma. Hi, Matt. Hi, welcome in. My favorite part of Werewolf is making decisions based on my current rage, choosing violence voluntarily because it's more likely to succeed than peace. I mean, that's fair. That's super fair. We were one of the lucky ones, but even a tent would not stop the freezing grasp of the coming winter that loomed like the mountains of my homeland over us all. The violence of Polish guards and a razor-sharp barbed wire fencing were stopping us from getting in, while Belarusian soldiers were preventing us from getting out. We were trapped like a mahi caught in a net. What is mahi? Means fish in Dari, the language spoken in northern Afghanistan. Interesting. Caught in a net as we gasped for air and freedom. And so we had traveled far from the camp, hoping, praying to Gaia to help us find a way through in the deathly stillness of the night. Okay. Oh God, that background effect music in my headphones is giving me anxiety. My goodness. You must escape. Where? Where? I asked. There was no answer. As far as I looked, the barbed wire stretched ever forth, a delicate ornamentation that sliced through the forest. Fresh snow draped over the smooth paths on either side. God. Concealing the graves of the trees that the guards had torn down to make way for this silver ribbon of pain. My eyes frantically roamed the fencing as we ran. Over there. The barbed wire lay in shadows, but I could nearly make out something in its midst. I ran to inspect it. I should protect my little brother. I just saw I just want to get out of here. I feel so bad. Look at it. Look at the picture. Look at the art. You're running and but I need to protect him. Please remember you have your little brother with you, dear God. Oh, no. Your place in werewolf society will be determined by your renown. Win glory through defeating mighty enemies and succeeding at dangerous quests. Gain honor by following your moral imperative and upholding the laws of the Garu. Accumulate wisdom by acting efficiently and thinking well before you act. Your renown will change as you play, contributing to Samir's legend among the Garu. I immediately ran over to inspect it, eager to find a way through. As I approached, the shadows revealed an object caught within the wire's claws. Ugh. The corpse of a rabbit. Ugh. What does that mean? The rabbit's dark eyes, widened permanently in shock, gazed up at me. In another time, I would have buried it, but now all I could see was the hole in the fence next to it. This was our chance to escape. Too late. I heard the crunching of footsteps in the snow. I looked up, startled to see a guard approaching as our eyes met. Before he could react, I was racing forward as I shoved him into the barbed wire fencing. He struggled to break free, but I grabbed his fallen rifle, smashing it over his head repeatedly until he lay still, blood flowing in rivulets as it dripped upon the fence. Grabbing his body, I dragged it over into the woods, a shocked Katsim silently helping me shovel snow over it before we took off running once more. Horrible. Glints of the barbed wire... Not that they hurt the guard. Horrible that they have to do this. Glints of the barbed wire shone at the corners of my eyes as we ran onwards. In turn, the gleam of a flashlight, the eyes of a guard, the edge of a gun. Where's this fence? My brain is still thinking Poland. It is on the border between Poland and Belarus. It is in Poland. Or on the border. The hunters seeking the child at my side as their prey as we ran faster and faster, searching frantically for any way through. Another burst of light. One I recognized with relief as that of Luna's as she shone gaily from behind the clouds, revealing at last a small gap beneath the silver that barred our way. Snow crowded greedily at the torn edges of the fencing, but it would be a matter of moments to clear it. Moments we did not have. What is that? What's that say? Cost? I can't read it for some reason. For me. It's blocked out on, but I can read it over here. Cost indicates that you need to spend some points to be able to choose the line. What am I costing? Costing Harano? Do it. Do it. Moments we did not have, for the moonlight also shone upon the hunter which I had feared, a Belarusian border guard headed our way. Flickers of light and smoke momentarily illuminated harsh features above a smoldering cigarette as he paused by the fence before turning about face to scan the other way. Here's my stealth! We snuck past! Do it! Yeah! Please be successful! Please don't let me have picked that in vain. Do you think it'd be possible to lower the volume of the game music a bit? Yes, absolutely. 100%. How is that? Is that better? Let me know if that's better before I continue on. Because it is really... I have my... all the way down to 5 on my computer. And it is still so very, very loud for me. Perfect. Amazing. I'm so sorry about that. No problem. The music gets louder at certain parts, I'm noticing. I led Katsim through the shadows, ducking and weaving until we reached the edge of the border. The guard flicked his cigarette onto the ground, the snow instantly extinguishing it with a greedy hiss. He turned around and began pacing the other way as we breathlessly watched him fade out of sight. Motioning to Katsim slightly, I cleared the snow as he scurried beneath the fence, like a hare fleeing the snow leopards that snapped at their heels. As he wriggled through, Katsim's coat caught in the fence's razor-sharp clutches. I shoved him forward, following close behind as we at last made it safely to Poland, a piece of his torn coat clenched within the barbed wire's silver hands. Our final sacrifice to the border. Amazing. Hey, stealth came in handy. Hey, made one good decision. I think maybe you're right, Craig, that it rises in the danger scenes. Like when someone is when a border guard is coming at us with a gun. The clearing. We had only made it a few hurried steps into Poland when an ancient forest loomed abruptly before us, menacing in its suddenness. The thick line of trees melded together as one against the blackness of night and the white snow that violently battered at this vanguard of the woods, a frozen wave of dark sea. I had heard about this forest as a child. That would be interesting, that someone would, growing up in Afghanistan, that someone would talk to us about the... Now, I don't remember how to pronounce it properly from Heart of the Forest. It was like Białowież Forest, Białowież, but that's wrong. Don't quote me. Polish is one of the languages I don't speak. But that'd be interesting if you heard about it. So I'm going to pick that. When I was a child in Afghanistan, my tribe of Garu, our sept, had mentioned the forest. Yeah, Białowieżka, or however you pronounce it. I had mentioned the forest and another group of Garu that resided within Puszcza Białowieżka. Puszcza Białowieżka. So bad. Sort of the last and largest remaining parts of the primeval forest that once stretched across the European plain. Thousands of tiny wooden arms above reached plaintively away from their trunks towards the border, as if seeking to reunite with their brethren on the other side. Or perhaps seeking their kin that had long stood beside them, now ruthlessly wiped away for a frozen valley and its silver river. A river I wished to put far behind me as I rushed forward into the embrace of the trees as the forest swallowed us whole. What was this feeling? Yes. Return to da forest. You just have to go kidnap Outstar to pronounce all the Polish. Well, I did say when I wanted to stream this, I did say, well, sure, you don't want to stream it because there was probably going to be a lot of Polish words in there, but they said, you do it. And I said, say less. Watch me pronounce them all wrong. What was this feeling? Longing? Regret? I could not put my finger on the emotion, but it grew stronger with every step. I slowed down. As I slowed, Katsim looked at me concerned. Samira, what is it? He asked. The feeling seemed familiar, and at last I recognized it. A yearning. But for what? Will Aunt Kadja come get us? Katsim whispered, the sound making me start in the oppressive hushed silence of the dark forest. Yes, once we're out of the woods. We can find a phone and call her. I whispered back as he looked relieved. Warsaw isn't very far, so we might even see her by tomorrow. You'll enjoy Warsaw. You'll like the city, I promised. It's a lot different from our home, but when I studied there... that's... Okay. So she studied here for... When I studied there, I found all of the best spots, and we can enroll you in a school, an actual school. Katsim seemed less enthused at this as I nudged him. A school where you can play football, His eyes lit up as he grinned up at me. Stop right there. Oh no. The beam of a torch blazed through the forest, illuminating Kasim and I, frozen against the birch trees. Run! Luna's voice intertwined with the sirens that suddenly pierced the night sky. We dashed desperately through the forest, the branches of the trees grabbing at us, bramble bushes clinging to our legs. See, I heard the music get a little louder in my headphones all the way back up when I was just like, you'll like the city. So I think even though, like, there's no way I could have read all the way to the bottom in that quick time, even if I was reading privately, the music did boost up louder, and now it's gone back down because they assume that I've read it. So I think that's timing might be a little bit off. Or I'm a slow reader, which is, you know, fair. I searched for an easier route. Yeah, let's try not to get horrible. Ooh, I got a point of honor. Horribly bloodied while we run away. I searched for an easier route. The darkness was thick and cloying, but I spied an open path through the dark, grasping branches of the forest. I grabbed Katsim's arm once more, leading him swiftly through the trees, our breathing ragged with fear as we burst into an open clearing. The flaming orange leaves of autumn now lay entombed in the ivory snow that lay over the clearing like a shroud, smothering fallen logs that rose up, gasping from the ground in one final hopeless attempt to return to their place in the sky. Don't move. Crap. Just have a landline with Outstar on speed dial. I mean, I have Outstar like right on Discord, just be like, pronounce this for me, but it's fine. Yeah. It's fine. Any German words come through, though, I got you. Don't move. The pristine high-line veneer was broken with a loud crack like the sound of breaking bones. Two border guards stepped forward across from us, assault rifles gripped threateningly in their hands. Raise your arms, one of them yelled, his face set and cruel, any empathy long exterminated. High rage. Make us, I snarled. The guards signaled as I felt two more guards appear behind us, a German shepherd at their side. One twisted my arm violently. We can make you, he laughed as he easily shoved me forward into the snow. I stumbled, nearly losing my balance, but managing to stay upright as the fury grew. My mind raced, searching for a way out. Some choices may strain your health or willpower. Strain it. Strain me. When you lose all health or willpower, you become impaired. Yep. This will make physical tasks, if you have 0 health, or social and mental tasks, if you have 0 willpower, harder and sometimes impossible. Animal Ken, the dog! Help me, doggy! The German shepherd whined as I locked eyes with it, willing it to run away. It obeyed my command, but was instantly yanked back by its keeper, who yelled at it. Oh, kill him. A distraction was not enough, for I could see in their eyes that we were merely rats that had escaped from their cage. But we could either obediently return there or be put down. But I was no rat. Oh, so I'm not a bonar? Yuck, 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 yuck. Hamid is the human form, perfect for talking and manipulating things. Glabro is strong enough to lift heavy things without breaking a sweat and intimidation. Krynos is war form, ruthless killing machine. There's nothing subtle about it. The nuclear option, as some might say. Hispo is a monstrous wolf, smart, fast, heavy, absolutely scary. Dire wolf, some might say. Lupus is the wolf form, a majestic animal with all its advantages and limitations. It's stealthy and swift. I shapeshifted. I mean, anything I shapeshift into is going to give my bro the delirium. And I'm at 5 rage. And any more rage and like you start taking willpower damage, it might not be a mechanic here in this game. But I'm going to go full Krynos. I hope I don't kill my little brother. But I'm willing to take that risk for the emotional damage. Boom. Oh no, when in doubt, Krynos it out. I was Krynos, the war form. I was a werewolf. Pain hit me like a wrecking ball. Every bone in my body broke and moved and reset. I roared in agony. Panting and growling, I rose and rose and rose. Oh god, the music. I was an 8-foot-tall killing machine. I was a Garu. So fuck these guards and fuck this situation. I attacked. Yes, attack. I lost a point of Hirano. I drank in the humans' fear and panic as I began tearing them to shreds. I was no longer afraid, no longer at their mercy. Their final gargling cries filled me with an inhumane joy as blood splattered across my chest, a delightful crimson of death rising in the air around me as I destroyed their pathetic, flimsy forms. A crimson that spread across my vision. A crimson that spread joyfully across the corners of my vision till all around me was red, red, red. Ooh, minus health. A savage bite ripped into my arm. Ooh, why am I losing health? A savage bite ripped into my arm. I whirled oh no, the dog. Furiously to face this new foe, but instead my vision focused as I saw another Garu. Oh, okay, not the dog. Their muzzles stained with blood. My blood. My human thoughts returned along with the realization that all of the guards had been killed. The pieces of their bodies were flung across the clearing as a spreading crimson stained the white snow beneath. I shapeshifted back. Now, I should lose all my rage for that, yeah. My rage was gone, replaced by a deadly ache of weariness after my frenzy. The wolves and I shapeshifted back into our Hamid forms, a previous rite of dedication ensuring our clothes returned as well. Yeah, that's a funny thing about Werewolf. I tend to just, like, suspend the disbelief for that. I mean, there's merits you can take in 5th edition where you can, like, have your clothes with you or not have your clothes with you. I let my players decide if they want to run around naked and be exposed to the elements or not. I very much follow, like, sort of the Dungeons & Dragons rules of, you know, druidic shapeshifting, like your clothes shapeshift with you, because I just can't be bothered. I can't be bothered to keep track of whether they do or not. That's the player's job. I have enough to think about. Oh, God. In for a penny for a mass murdering. Yeah. Oh, sweet. Keep the clothes. Don't need the bumbling fanny pack like in Hungry Names. Yeah, no. No, I mean, love Hungry Names, but no, I can't be bothered. I have enough. It's way too much to think about while I'm storytelling. I'm too busy. One of the Garu. I can't say it. I can't. Approached me, my body still heaving with the change. Thanks for the help, buddy. Ooh, Maya, friendly. I remember Maya. Maya was our main character in Heart of the Forest, right? Am I wrong or am I right? I think I'm right. I'm glad we got here in time. These border soldiers. She looked at them, the fury of the wolf still evident in her eyes. She introduced herself as Maya, another as Kim, and Daniel. And Daniel was the Lupus-born. I do remember. I should have replayed it before I did this, but I remember Daniel and Maya. Their names blurred together in my head after the events of the night, and I started to feel faint, but I needed to stay strong for Katsim. Katsim! I realized he was no longer by my side as a ragged panic started to claw within my chest. Ask her, did she see my brother? I gained a point of Verana. I asked Maya, a note of violent terror in my voice, but she shook her head. Oh no, her eyes reflecting my fear. I'm sorry, we saw only the guards. Where was he? There was only the wolves and the bodies. My terrified gaze locked onto the ravaged bodies of the soldiers, a small dark form lying beside them. No! Katsim! I screamed my brother's name, rushing over as I collapsed down beside him, but I could see it was already too late. Oops. Blood stained the front of his clothes as his sightless eyes stared up wide at the moon. As if in a cursed trance, I turned my head, heart pounding dully and the sounds around me fading as I followed his gaze. Did we kill him? We must have. Oh no. Yep, that's the honey decision making we're here for. Watch me make it again when I play this whole game on stream. Oh no, the clouds rushed in waves away from the center of the night sky as I saw her face. The brightness now turned to a dulled, deathly gray as a mocking voice echoed in my mind. I told you to run. Boy, you sure did, Luna. 3 Hirano! Oh yeah! Wonder if he was doomed and got shot if he did. I mean, I imagine so. He said you're risking for the emotional moment. I did, and I love it. No, that's a fair point. Probably that if we went into Hispo or Glabro form, probably would have been the same. Or, I mean, I think there was an option for us to turn to Lupus or stay in our Hamid form. Obviously, I didn't pick those because why would I? I didn't think too long about the decision. But yeah, probably. That was where it was going anyway. Well, we're going to depress ourselves to a game over. Yeah, that's what we're going to do, Matt. It's me. You know me. That's a great phrase that I'm going to use it. Like, I'm going to try not to depress myself to a game over. That's great. I'm going to take that. Not even asking. I'm taking it. Return to Warsaw. Luna's mocking voice echoed in the cloying darkness of my room as the vision of the past faded away. During the day, these memories were kept far at bay, but once the light fell, they eagerly crowded at the edges of my mind, ceaselessly repeating their shifting, strident melodies. Some nights, Luna was helpful and kind. Others, like tonight, she was mocking and cruel. Sometimes she said nothing at all. I preferred Luna in one way. Indifferent. The nights when she was indifferent, I felt neither happiness nor pain, in a strange sort of numbing relief. Several long months had passed since that night, since Katsim, since that had happened. My aunt, Kadja, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, a Garu from my sept in Afghanistan who had moved to Warsaw years before, had taken me in, even getting me a part-time job at her girlfriend's bar, Apocalypsa. That's on the nose, isn't it? I mean, cool, though. It sounds more like a club than a bar. Apocalypsa. I mean, it's pretty, it's, Latin or whatever, pretty similar German. A secret meeting place and hangout spot for the local Garu. I enjoyed the work. Yes. I had found myself enjoying learning how to mix drinks and getting to know the other Garu of Warsaw, especially when I thought of all the other refugees who struggled to find any work at all. And yet a small, cynical part of me wondered why even bother pursuing my university degree in the first place? I mean, that's fair enough. Technology, studying computer science. Yeah, I am. Hirano speedrun. That's me. I had studied computer science at Warsaw University, but it was now starting to feel like a complete waste. Upon my return this autumn, I had eventually tried to fit back into the city to be less of a burden to Kadja. I had tried everything. I tried to find a job. Now I have a job. I'm helping out at the bar. I had met up with the other Garu. Yeah. Yeah. Met up with the other Garu. I had met with the other Garu, trying to get involved in the affairs of the Sept, but it had felt harder and harder to care about protecting the humans. Fair? Eventually, I had given up. What was the point in going outside when everything turned dark and gray and memories floated through every stranger's face? I had heard Kadja whisper of Hirano to Victoria, her girlfriend. The Garu despair. Balanced. Am I? My Hirano is balanced? I mean, I think it's kind of tipping towards the high, but sure. Maybe I did, but did it matter? I shoved the thoughts of Kadja down as I turned on my side, thin black curtains drawn across the window. The moon beyond, her voice a beckoning call. Zero rage. I answered her call. Well, if I howl at her, I can get a point of rage back, just FYI. Something moved within me for the first time in a long while. I stepped to the window and threw open the blinds to answer her call. Staring out over Warsaw cityscape, a solid, jagged line of buildings stood dim and gloomy, with Luna shining high above it all. Her form tonight was the same as the night of my first change into a werewolf. This form had also determined my role in the pack, my auspice. I mean, it'd be cool if we were a Theurge. I'm just saying, it would be cool. I mean, I don't know if I can be a glasswalker. It would be cool to be a glasswalker Theurge, though. That would make me really happy. I'd love, like, technomancy type stuff would be super cool. I'm just saying. Speaking with tech spirits is metal as hell. You are so right. So I think I have to pick that because that's really cool. Because I think if I was to play werewolf, not that anyone's invited me to play werewolf, but I think if I would play werewolf, I'd want to play a glasswalker Theurge. I was part of one of the playtests for Werewolf 5th Edition, and I played a Galliard, a child of Gaia Galliard, but I was the only one who took, like, Umbra-specific gifts and rights, because I wanted to use them. I did use them and everything, but I just think it would have been better if I had picked Theurge. I just also like Galliard. I think Galliard... I think Galliard's kind of fun. Glasswalker Theurge is my Hungry Names character. Dances with spiders. Yeah. I think I gotta do it, right? So I'm gonna. A crescent moon. I was a theurge, a mystic, and a friend of the spirits. Luna's favor had also granted me a gift. Living ward, a shield against lesser spirits that sought to harm, gained through the power of a wolf spirit. That's interesting. Not the best gift, really, but I'll take it. Because I want to be a theurge. Gifts can be used only once. That's a bummer. That's different. Bummed. I guess I'll save it. And I guess I'll do it like how I do everything when I play a game. I never use it. So I end a game with 1,000,000 health potions. Something very fun about being a bard. Yeah, that's sort of, I mean, if we had to put it that way, Galliarder's bard and what Ragabash is like rogue. Theurge is like warlock, wizard, sorcerer. Arun is like, I'm trying to think, Arun is like barbarian or fighter. Philodox. I'm trying to think of Philodox, comparison for Philodox. Monk, maybe? Philodox is probably the one I feel the least, like, compelled to play or desire to play. Once a daydreamer and visionary, reality had proven too harsh for the spiritual world. Yep. Oh, man. Why can I only use a gift once? Luna's form soon became obscured as the memory started to play once more, the voice of the moon intonating monotonously as I fell back into bed. The voice of the ceiling above transformed to a vision of the past as I lay there trapped, waiting and willing for the dawn. Why don't I howl for the moon and gain a point of rage? Is it because I'm too sad? I mean, fair. Breakfast with Kaja. Dawn's morning rays filtered into the room as I finally got up. I headed down to the kitchen, led by the aromatic, oh my god, aromatic smells of breakfast wafting through the hallway, which means Kaja was already up, which meant conversation. I debated finding some means of escape. I'll sneak through the kitchen. They'll never see me. My last werewolf was a Shadow Lord Ragabash. Oh, that's fun. That's really fun. The Ospreys are barbarian. You know what, Craig? That's also super fair. That's super fair. I mean, yeah. Okay, Philodox be Paladin, yeah. I don't play Dungeons & Dragons, if it's not obvious. I've never played Dungeons & Dragons. I just know it through osmosis. And from watching other people play. I carefully made my way through the kitchen, trying to grab some food and return to my bedroom when I heard Kaja's voice. Samira, is that you? Damn it. Yes, I'm up. Good. Why don't you join me? I heaved a sigh, heading into the living room. Kaja sat cross-legged on an embroidered cushion on the floor, watching the news as they interviewed Helena, Zelinska, a something politician, a lower house in the Polish parliament, a Chem politician popular for her aid to the Ukrainian refugees. I listened in, losing willpower in the process. I listened as Zelinska spoke about the newest wave of incoming Ukrainian refugees, proclaiming that the Chem was fully behind them as they prepared further funding to help those in need. Could not help but think that those from our side of the border had yet to receive the same funding. But I hoped it would not be far behind. Kaja quickly flicked off the TV as she noticed me enter, turning to face me. Her thick black hair was pulled loosely back in a high bun that accentuated her sweetheart face. Despite being from Afghanistan, a country of majority Muslims where women were expected to cover their hair, we had grown up obeying only the litany, a fact we had to conceal whenever we left our sept. Although usually careful when I left our sept's village to follow traditions, I had accidentally been caught once on my own by a stray traveler while exploring the Hindu Kush mountains. Thank God for mountain goats! I love that. I love that for me. Barbarian who sings, barbarian who talks. I'd asked a nearby mountain goat to create a distraction. Naturally, the goat had refused to listen and attacked us both, creating the opportunity I needed to slip away. A maroon tablecloth woven with delicate geometric patterns was spread in front of Kaja, upon which rested breakfast, dishes of rot, red eggs fried with vegetables, paneer cheese, sambosa, and my favorite, sheer chai tea. Doesn't chai mean tea? Isn't that saying sheer chai. Is that saying sheer TT? We owned a table, but we both had spent too many years eating this way to change it for Warsaw's customs. Breakfast? You shouldn't change your customs when you move to a new country. You should, learn the language and the traditions and the laws and things of the country that you move to, but absolutely keep your own traditions. That's what makes culture is something that should be preserved and shared and taught. Sorry. I am also an immigrant. Sure. Sure, I said unenthusiastically. I could hear her let out a suppressed sigh as I turned to wash my hands before joining her for the meal. I used my right hand to scoop up the eggs with the rote and forced a mouthful. Oh, so good. Bland. Oh no. Everything tasted so bland these days I could sense Kaja was worried, but she kept silent as we finished eating and washed up. After the meal, Kaja turned to me, fishing a small package out of her purse. I need to deliver this to Ilona. Can you take it? That's a really common name here in Germany, Ilona. Do I have to? Do I have to take it? Even I could hear how whiny my voice was as Kaja's brow knitted together fiercely. Samira, I know how tough things have been, but this is getting ridiculous. I lost my little brother. I murdered him. What do you want? And it's only been a few months. What do you want? She shoved the package at me as she stood up. I won't take no for an answer, so make sure it gets delivered today. And with that, she was gone. I sighed heavily, wishing that I had denied her request. Looking down at the package in my hand, I examined it closely, wondering what Kaja would need delivered personally to the head of our sept, the group of werewolf packs that resided in Warsaw. Ooh, technology. I don't want to try and open it. I don't want to make her mad. I don't want to be... Okay, I don't know. I'll shake it like a Christmas package. I don't want to make her mad. Or whoever's supposed to receive it, and obviously I've tampered with it. I gently shook it. A small clattering could be heard, and I quickly stopped, not wanting to break whatever was inside. I half-heartedly got ready to go, finally leaving the apartment and locking the heavy door behind me with our old-fashioned bronze key. Taking the creaky 100-plus-year-old lift down to the ground floor, I stepped out onto the frosty Warsaw streets, my breath billowing in the air as I exhaled. The cairn awaited. Hey, I lose a point of Hirano. Look at me. Getting better, guys. Depression? Don't know her. Unexpected encounter. My university friends had expected I would have a hard time in winter, but to my surprise, I had found the temperatures similar to my home deep in the northern Afghanistan mountains. I shivered as a cold breeze sliced at my face. Even if I was used to it, it didn't mean I enjoyed it. I picked up the pace, heading quickly toward the cairn, the spiritual center of the Garu Sept, where Ilona, our leader, could be found. I knew how to avoid the crowds because I'm stealthy like a wolf. Come on, who hasn't murdered a family member in a werewolf rage before? I mean, that's fair, like first change, right? Family annihilator. It's really common in like a lot of backstories of werewolves, but like still, it's okay to feel bad. Like it's okay to take 6 months or more because you murdered your little brother. Okay, let me be sad. When I had first moved to Warsaw, the city had overwhelmed me. The enormous crowded skyscrapers, the rushing people, and the streets filled with the toxic fumes from cars, trucks, and buses. So very different from the quiet mountains and tiny villages of my homeland. I miss it. The star-swept skies above, sleeping outdoors in the mountains, curled up in my lupus form, the freedom of silence. I brushed the thoughts away as I came upon an abandoned tunnel of gray concrete, a remnant from a long-ago construction site, that had become overgrown with moss and weeds. Graffiti lined the walls with such intimidating slogans as H.O. Ho? As I idly read them, the spray paintings up ahead seemed to blur together into a crowded mess of artwork, the harsh swirls and blunt lines of black and white seeming to sway upon the walls. Ah. Ha. Horror filled my mind. Same things I see every time I close my eyes. Horror filled my mind as the graffiti paint began to painstakingly peel itself off the wall, twisting and twitching spasmodically until it had formed a massive centipede-esque creature of tangled serpentine lines. It sniffed the air as its semblance of a head slanted towards my location. With a jolting speed, the crumbling spider-like monstrosity began crawling robotically towards me, a feeler of dripping paint reaching out. Ah! I warily backed up. But as it approached, I saw the paint begin to drip off of the centipede until only a puddle of putrid gray rested at my feet. My mind raced over what I had seen. Theurge, what was a worm spirit doing here? I mean, was it a worm spirit? I mean, Weaver has spirits that follow it. It said spider-like, blah, blah, blah. Weaver has, that's one of the things I like most about Werewolf, but also is the most frustrating about Werewolf is that everyone is so, I mean, I get it. The worm is like a really ever-present danger and like really dangerous, but the Weaver is subtle in its danger, and Weaver spirits are freaky, and especially in older editions like drones and stuff. They're freaky. Just saying. It's not a worm spirit. That's just Charlie. He lives here. Oop, no rage. I know. She didn't howl at the moon. That's not my fault. I would have let her if she asked. It's like Spider-Man and Uncle Ben always having to die. I know. The wild isn't subtle about its danger, and that's why it's been crippled, yeah. It's true. It's true. Werewolf is so cool. I love Werewolf. That was a lesser worm spirit, that much was certain, but what was it doing, so brazenly showing itself? I hoped Ilona would have the answers. I don't get any, I mean, okay, I'm just gonna get into the storyteller brain. If that had happened, like, to one of my players, I would have given them a point of rage, because it was a worm spirit, but, whatever. I don't need any rage, I guess. I don't deserve it. I'm too sad. The cairn of Warsaw. Undercurrents of spiritual energy filled the air, swirling mistily around me as I stepped out onto the road across from the old Gasworks Coliseum, our cairn home to the Sept of Warsaw. The Gasworks Coliseum was a mottled blood rust red and gray brick structure that, despite its dilapidation, towered with a fierce pride against the grim, overcast skies. Glory. A place of ferocity where spiritual power raged forth from every brick, declaring itself as the stronghold of the Garu. While the Warsaw Sept had claimed a part of their city as their own, my cairn in Afghanistan resided within a natural rock cave, set high and deep in the Hindu Kush mountains with delicate veins of emeralds lining the walls of the circular chamber. Wow. And yet they both exuded the same power of the wild, of nature, of earth that connected us all. I crossed the empty road, approaching the wall as the pulses of spiritual energy grew stronger. Give me some rage. Yeah, I was going to be like, I could, not and keep punishing myself. But no, give me some rage. It drew me in. A fierceness to match the cairns rose within me as I eagerly stepped forward into the flowing wave of rage. Though long since abandoned, the Gasworks Coliseum still lay within the city's bounds, and as the decades passed, security had increased in the form of cameras and security guards, forcing the Sept to devise ways to protect it from wandering eyes. Ooh. I mean, could be hacking. But I kind of want to see Garu guards, so I'm going to pick that one. Because I think that's cooler. I mean, I should have picked hacking, obviously, because I want to be a glasswalker or do technology, but I like the idea of werewolf patrolman. Werewolf protectors pace the border, the fear humans have held for the Garu since the Impergium, a reign of terror when the Garu tyrannized the human inhabitants of the world, instinctively led them to avoid the place. The most important defense, though, was the cairn itself, a living ward which held a powerful guardian spirit that fiercely protected its home. I had sensed it, because I'm a Theurge and I sense things. I had sensed it, only the once when I had attended a moot Agaru meeting while in university. Barely even a glimmer of a feeling, but it had left a deep impression on my mind ever since. As I approached, a thick wall of gray concrete topped with barbed wire came into view. Another reason I had avoided coming here after my return to Warsaw. That's fair. God. Like, oh, boss. I had to give myself I had to, everybody gets one, right? I had to throw her a bone, get it? Because she's a dog. I leapt the wall because I don't want to use doors. Doors are for Doors are for normies. I don't use doors. I leapt the wall. The Colosseum grounds. Although I kept my regard fixed well away from the barbed wire, I felt lighter than I had in days as I recklessly vaulted over the fence. The wind rushed through my hair and filled my lungs, the adrenaline pumping as I landed, that's a cool word, adroitly on the scraggly grass-covered ground. Hey kid, you're not allowed in here. Shit. I heard someone yelling from the far end of the fence as Ilona's imposing form appeared suddenly in front of me. Oh no, more Hirano. She gave me a disapproving stare. Whoops. I'll take care of this. She disappeared. I waited anxiously, thinking about Ilona and what Kaja had told me about her when I first arrived. Ah, her ascension to Sept leadership. Oh, her identity as a trans woman. That's interesting. Okay. I don't. If she was in Heart of the Forest, I don't remember. I'm so sorry. I should have replayed it. That was my bad. I apologize. I don't remember. Her ascension to Sept leadership, because that seems like a pertinent thing for me to know. Kaja said many were surprised when Ilona had become the Sept leader. Although a fierce and dedicated fighter, she was a woman of few words, and many saw her as being easily intimidated. A mistake they did not make more than once. The minutes ticked by. I scanned the fencing where Ilona had gone, but she did not reappear. My gaze wandered over to the abandoned lot surrounding the cairn, a desolate stretch of straggling wild grasses and patches of parched dirt covered intermittently with piles of decaying snow. The overcast skies ahead parted as the sun streamed forth upon the grim cairn, highlighting the rust red of the outer walls and the accentuating darkness within. As the gleaming rays shone down, they touched upon an object out of place amidst the dusky snow. A bottle of cheap beer. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. For anyone who has run a full game, is fluctuating rage common enough for characters to lose the wolf often enough for it not to be a big deal? Yes. Exactly what Matt said. Yeah, so the only... going nuclear option, going Krynos, you lose the rage... but there are lots of... It's sort of left for you to get it back. And it's encouraged in the 5th edition book for players to say, like, can I have rage for this? To state their case of why they should get rage for certain events that happen. And there's also rights like the Song of Rage, and there's being able to howl at the moon to get rage. There's another gift too. I can't remember what it is exactly because my brain is not working. But there's another moon thing, moon gift thing that lets you do that. Get more rage. A crumb? Can I have a crumb of the rage? And I very much encourage my players to say, like, this thing that happened, you know, whether it's an insult or if it's an insult or someone like punched you in the face or, you know, got up in your face, that's a pretty obvious increase of rage. But if it's an event or a thing happening or a thought or an emotion or a feeling or whatever, something a little bit less tangible, then I very much encourage my players to state their case. Some school kids must have gotten in. Hopefully they got back out, though leaving behind a full unopened bottle seems to suggest otherwise. I took it. Free beer. It was still tightly sealed, and as a part-time worker, I did not look a free beer in the mouth. Fair enough. Ilona finally reappeared, wiping something off her hands. Oh my god, did she kill him? She caught my gaze as her dark eyebrows furrowed menacingly. What happened? I'm not losing willpower for no reason. I asked worriedly. Ilona tilted her head at me, frowning disapprovingly. Thankfully, it was just a pedestrian, so I told him I was a security guard here. But if it had been an actual guard, we would have been in trouble. I assumed it was a Garu guard. Excuse the hell out of me. Her dark eyes narrowed, or dark green eyes narrowed, which is why we use the entrance we created to ensure no one is within the vicinity. I nod. I don't apologize. I nodded, which apparently was not quite the right response, as she let out a short sigh. She'd be like, makes sense. Ilona turned around, briskly striding into the Colosseum without seeing if I was following as I jogged to catch up. Stepping through the dim, spreading shadow that emanated from the towering building, I followed Ilona into the old Colosseum. Karen is friendly, +2. That's nice for me. The broken panes of glass from the numerous windows embedded in the Colosseum walls allowed sunlight to seep in from all sides, lazily painting glowing diamonds upon the packed soil. A thin, rusting gray staircase encircled the inner wall of the cairn, rising up to a balcony that would fill with the rest of the sept during a moot, but now stood empty. Spread out across the ground of the cairn, I could see the forms of various Garu from different tribes, an aura of menace surrounding them even in their human form. That's nice. We ignore each other. Why don't I have any friends? Is it because I don't use the door? Is it because I don't go through the front door and I ignore everyone? We ignored each other, while my sept in Afghanistan had been welcoming and tight-knit, a community of outcasts amidst a country predominated by a single religion. I had found the Warsaw sept to have a more defined hierarchy, one I was not a part of. It was infuriating. Give me that rage. We were part of the same sept, weren't we? And yet, just because of this Harano, this despair, the rest of the Garu treated me like a pariah. I mean, and they will, too, because, like, you're a walking, you know, what is the phrase there? But for the grace of God, go I, or whatever that phrase is. Because you're, a walking example of what could happen to any of them at any time. So, yeah. Even if there was some other reason, why not just say it to my face? As I observed which Garu were present that day, I noticed members of my own tribe amongst them. I get to pick my tribe. Pick my tribe, yes. Glasswalkers are here. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Mm-hmm. Yes. I should have read it. I'm so sorry. I should have read it. I'm the worst. Why are you watching me? Leave immediately. I should have picked it. I'm so sorry. I should have read it. They're great. Their patron spirit is Spider, and they do a lot of technology and work with a lot of, weavers spirits or, technological spirits. I'm so sorry. Oh, man. No black spiral dancers. No, the White Howlers. F's in chat for the White Howlers. Can I click to pause the game and access options? Can I read? God, I feel bad. Oh no, this isn't it. Go back. Where's the? There we go. Let me read that, because that was terrible. I was just so excited to see it. A largely urban tribe that values applied sciences, tools, and technology, and which often works alongside the spirits of the Weaver. They prefer to find cunning solutions based on research, which utilize every advantage modern computers, firearms, and machines can give them. That's me. Ooh, received the gift of Doppelganger. Oh, what is that? I didn't see. What is it? The ability to appear as another human or werewolf. Gifts can only be used once. This sucks because I'm probably never going to do it because I'm going to want to save it. Maybe I'll have an option to do it in the demo. That's the only time I'll ever use it. One aspect in particular had attracted me to the Glasswalkers. God, they're awesome. Yeah, technology and tools. The tech spirits, because I'm a Theurge. I'm way too excited. I'm so sorry, everyone. I am so giddy playing this. Which I shouldn't be, because this Samira is suffering. Although the tech spirits were mainly spirits of the Weaver, I enjoyed interacting with creatures that appreciated order. Drawing my gaze away from the other Garu, I followed Ilona across the cairn, passing the very heart of the Colosseum in which rested a remnant of the Sept's former cairn from before the war. The intricately carved black marble capital of a Romanesque column whose broken, jagged end had been thrust into the ground. Above Gaia's soil could be read a line of Old Polish that had been inscribed heavily into the stone. Not even going to try and read that. Let me work while you rest. For me, it had always meant one thing. Ooh, we were... Aww. Companions. Let me work while you rest. We were Oh, I hope this hurts my feelings. We were companions. We uplifted each other, both simultaneously working and resting in our own turn. Then the vision disappeared, reality returning as I realized Ilona had been addressing me. She was calling me by my werewolf name, the one I had chosen after my first change. Ooh. Ooh. God, these are so good. Zohal, Koi, Minu, Parisa, Azade. I don't want to pick one that's going to be the easiest for me to pronounce because that's the, you know. I want to pick Moon of a Far Off Planet because that's the coolest name ever. I've got the urge to Theurge. I hope this hurts me. I do. I gotta pick Zohal because that is the coolest name. A moon of a far off planet. Ah, God. I mean, I should pick something more glasswalkery, like Liberated and Free or Benevolent Spirit or Powerful or any of these other ones, but I gotta pick that one because it's so cool. Damn. Zohal, meaning moon of a far-off planet. Maybe it had been presumptuous, but I had imagined a kinship to Luna when I had chosen it. It had been a long time since I had heard that name. Ooh. A bittersweet feeling. Oh man. I thought that was a minus sign. I thought that was going to make me lose Hirano. Damn! I saw it like at the very last second. Oh man. I swear it was a minus sign in my eyes, and then I realized it wasn't. Damn it. Oh. See, what's going to be my own undoing in trying to hurt myself voluntarily is my eyeballs don't work right. It was a bittersweet feeling. It reminded me of joyful memories of home and family and friends. Memories now tinged with the acrid stabbing of loss. You've brought Kaja's package then? Kaja must have texted her earlier. Pulling it out of my bag, curiosity rose in me once more. I asked about it. Ilona's gonna hate me. Another one. She's gonna hate me so bad. And that's okay. Ilona regarded me coldly. I cannot show you what's in it unless you hand it over. I quickly gave it to her. Taking the box in one hand, Ilona deftly opened it with a single slash of her dark green painted fingernail, revealing the contents. A severed finger. Perhaps once human, it had become pure steel of a mottled dark bottle blue with tiny razor-sharp edges like those of a knife jutting out indiscriminately around it. What is that? What is it? A lesser bane of some sort, Ilona explained calmly. Kaja had discovered it in Warsaw and tracked it down, slaying it along with some others of her pack. She held it out towards me. What are your impressions of it? I examined it more closely. Why is this a technology thing? Where did this take place? Why is this a technology thing? Ilona told me the address, a location near the Vistula River. I quickly grabbed my laptop, and in a few minutes, I see had the security cameras for that spot. Ilona leaned in, her dark green eyes narrowing as the worm spirit showed up on the screen, a thing of cerulean steel covered entirely in the same sharp razor blades as its finger. Ugh. Turning abruptly about face, it stared directly into the camera, tilting its head. A second later, the screen went blank. As Ilona placed it into a pouch, the finger seemed to emanate with a final pulse of dark energy before she secured it with a snap. I wonder if all this could have something to do with the worm spirit I encountered earlier. Ilona's astute gaze bore into me. You seem like you have something to say. Maybe? Maybe. I tell her about the worm spirit, obviously, because I would like her to like me a little. Or I don't. Oh, it's fine. Samira likes to look up from her laptop and say, "We're in." I know. I wanted that. I wanted that moment for me. I didn't get it, though. What, I gotta hack into the mainframe? God. Earlier on my way here, there was a worm spirit. Shock stamped across her strong features as I told her all about the spirit I had encountered earlier. Ilona stood silent in contemplation, breaking in at last to slowly say, "This is becoming a worrying pattern now, when combined with yesterday's death and the recent accusations." The death? Question mark. Who died? The words were forced out of my mouth as a rising wave of tangled memories pushed in on my mind. I took a deep breath. I calmed myself as I listened intently. One of the Garu. Ilona said as a pained sadness flitted across her face. We think it was by a worm spirit. The one Kaja defeated. Possibly, Ilona shrugged, her brows knitting together in momentary uncertainty. Hopefully. Right now, one of the Glasswalkers is investigating it, so we should know more soon. I'm one of the Glasswalkers. I could investigate it. What about the accusations? I, too, am a Glasswalker. I asked Ilona about the accusations as she hesitated. There have been rumors of attacks happening. Some feel the worm is responsible. Although the worm has always been a problem in Warsaw, what is happening now feels unprecedented. And as fast as we destroy the lesser worm spirits, others appear in their place. Well, yeah, because they just go back to the Umbra and then come back. Ilona said wearily. That's one of the problems with Werewolf. Like, not problems with Werewolf, but problems the werewolves have. Why it feels like they're fighting a losing battle. What do you think is causing it? I asked curiously. I believe there is something behind it all, manipulating all of these spirits, but what exactly, I cannot say for certain. Before I could ask more, another Garu came up to speak with her as she excused herself. No, don't make me lose Hirano. I regret not hitting the plus button on the other one. I felt something stirring within me. No. Damn it. For the first time in a long time, I felt a faint excitement stirring within me as I mulled over what she had told me. I lingered for a few moments, hoping to learn more, but when it became obvious Ilona would be busy for quite some time, I decided to just ask Victoria tonight instead. Victoria is my aunt's girlfriend, right? Tell me if I'm right. On the way out, I spied some equipment near a corner of the cairn that was kept for the use of all the Garu. Tech equipment! Yes, please. Me. I want it. Tech equipment, laptops, surveillance systems, even a drone. A drone! Littered the cairn. Evidence of the Garu's entrance into the modern era. Oh, should I take a drone? I examined the items, putting one of them in my pack. Oh, I don't get the drone. That's not fair. I want the drone. I'll take a heat sensor, though. Infrareds. I take a heat sensor. I don't know why. Maybe we're going to go hunt Predator, but I want that for some reason. A small camera for detecting heat-giving objects. I want it. Gimme. Probably infrared probably would have been the smart choice. Way more useful. I want the heat sensor. Gimme. Ooh, I hope that name is Andre, because that's a harder name for me to pronounce. I'm going to say Andre. Andre Skarzinski. As I neared the entrance, the door slammed open as a Garu burst into the cairn. His overwhelming presence, accentuated by a fierce scowl that highlighted sharp features, instantly drew the eyes of everyone in this room. Andre Skarzinski. A charming and ruthless native, oh my goodness, Wartsarian, hailing from a wealthy family, leader of the Morning Wolf Father. Oh, okay. Leader of the Morning Wolf Father Pack, he was known as something of the Shadow Lords, Arun of the Morning Wolf. Okay. Is this our Cult of Fenris guy? What do you think? Just based on what we're reading here. A native Wartsarian from one of the wealthy families. Let's pick that one for some reason. Andre was one of the wealthiest families in Warsaw. Some even whispered that his family had used his werewolf powers in the past for their own gain. Bum bum bum. Ilona alone continued to pointedly ignore him as he strode angrily up to her, the sunlight casting an ethereal glow upon his blonde head as if anointing him as its avenging angel. Okay, he's definitely our fascio guy. Shadow Lord. He's definitely our fascio guy. Whereas Ilona was quite steel with the air of a 5-star general, Andre had a careless charisma and ruthless recklessness that had led to his becoming leader of the Wolf Father Pack at a young age. Oh dear. He was everything a werewolf should be. I mean, none of these are really negative towards him. I was wary of him. His methods were brutally efficient. None of these are really negative about him. So I guess Samira doesn't have any. I mean, he might not be like a Cult of Fenris guy. He might just, like, in the way that He might just be like fully leaned into the Hauglosk. So I'll just say he was everything a werewolf should be, because that's one of those, again, Hirano. All werewolves are like, you're falling to Hirano, and it's like super obvious, and they can see it, and they like waggle their finger at you. But with Hogloss, it's funny. It's like sometimes you don't notice until it's too late, because they'll just be like the most enthusiastic person at the mood, or they'll just be like the most, willing to head into battle to fight worm spirits, and then it'll only be like later where you'll be like, maybe the rage has taken over a little bit. So, yeah, he's everything a werewolf should be. Excuse me. I'd only seen him from afar, but to me, he was everything a werewolf should be. Powerful. First in a fight, a leader that immediately drew the gaze of everyone around him. Oh my goodness. Okay, or maybe he is the Cult of Fenris guy. Wait, never mind. Shut up, Huddy. You don't know what you're talking about, obviously. Michael. Again, I don't remember this character from Heart of the Forest. Michael, or should I say Ilona? Nice. Dead naming. We love that. His voice was smooth with underlying contempt as he stood next to her. Their forms matched in height as she slowly turned to face him. Why have you not taken action yet? Yeah, I can be like, who was Michael? Oh. Okay. Who is Michael? She might not even know. Who is Michael? I remember suddenly what Kadja had told me when I first arrived in Warsaw, that Michael was the name Ilona had been known by before she transitioned. Although Andre had known her prior to her transition, this seemed unlikely to have been a mere slip of the tongue. Ilona's icy voice cut through the cavernous room. As I mentioned earlier, I cannot do anything without proof. I hope we get to kill him. Andre's blue eyes grew calm with a rigid fury. Ever since these refugees arrived in this country, there has been report after report of them attacking Polish citizens. Oh, because my rage is low. I waited for Ilona to speak. Damn. Reports? What the hell was he talking about? I waited for Ilona to speak as he continued. They have burgled our country and raped our women. Even the politicians have confirmed this. Someone hit him. Hit him. At this, Ilona interrupted, her voice cold. And clearly, you have not done your research properly, or you would know these claims were proven to be false. In fact, it is often the refugees who are the victims, as I'm sure Samira can attest. She indicated me as Andre turned slightly to face me, a derisive look on his handsome features. Don't call him handsome, Samira. Ah, Samira, our very own refugee. Perhaps you could shed some light on what exactly your countrymen have been doing here. His light words seemed to hold an underlying meaning. They haven't been doing anything, which you would know, as apparently you don't have any proof. Oh, I want to hit him. What I know is that if Emmerich had not been investigating them, he would be alive right now. Oh my. His blue eyes blazed as I stared at him in confused horror, but before I could respond, Ilona interrupted. That's enough, Andre. Emmerich's death is still under investigation, but what we do know is that it is certainly was not caused by a refugee. I mean, hello, Fomori possess bodies of people, and especially, let's say they would use the bodies of refugees, especially they're, vulnerable and weak and, obviously not being treated well by the humans who should be treating them well. And I want to hit him. Let me hit him. Now, until you do have any definite proof of their wrongdoings, her tone implied, she thought this unlikely, then I consider this issue as dropped. With an air of frigid finality, Ilona turned her back on Andre, indicating the meeting was over. Andre momentarily looked furious before he calmed himself with a frightening suddenness as he gave a small, mocking bow of his head. If that is what our leader commands. I hate him. Hate him. So he is a start, yeah. Time to beat him up someday. I hope so. Immigrants, I know. That's basically, he basically walked in like, they took our jobs, but like in a much more serious manner. I love that we're thirsting over this guy just to see hate crimes, everyone. I know, it's so funny. Obviously she didn't, that's what I mean. She didn't know that about him, so I was just wanting to see what would happen when I picked it. I sensed that it was most certainly was not over. Although Andre forced a smile as he turned fiercely around, I caught a glimpse of his bright blue eyes that burned with an avenging fury. The other Garus seemed to be awkwardly looking anywhere but at us as a hushed silence fell over the cairn after Andre had left. What the hell was that about? Why did Andre hate the refugees so much? Because he's a jerk? Because he's a racist? Why did Andre hate the refugees so much? While there had always been a bit of divide between the Polish and non-Polish Garu, this seemed to go far beyond that. I wanted to ask Ilona, but as I glanced down at my phone, I noticed with a start that my job at Apocalypsa would be starting soon. Making my way towards the entrance, I turned to close the doors behind me when the ancient stone at the cairn... Cairns what? At the cairns what? Caught my gaze once again. Cairns something missing there. This time I found myself unable to look away as a vision filled my sight because I'm a theurge. Vision of spirits. Bum 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 bum. A strange light seemed to emanate from the very earth itself, an elusive, otherworldly presence that seemed to glow, easing my heart and mind. I inhaled, tasting the scent of nature and life. Damn! Losing a rage, gaining a health though. I'll take it. He's so loathsome and hunky, we could shag then kill him. Yep. You know? Enemies to lovers to enemies again? I'm down. I don't know if anyone will get this reference, but we could kill him Black Widow in Fallout New Vegas style. I don't know if anyone will get that reference. Kill Benny Black Widow style. I inhaled, tasting the nature, which I always do. I inhaled, tasting the scent of nature and life. The vision wrapped around me with a slow, briny wave of intoxicating hope as it swirled before my gaze. And then, with a muffled stillness, the doors shut me out and the vision vanished. Bum, 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 bum. Alleyway brawl. Yes, please. Hurrying through the darkening streets of Warsaw across the cobblestone roads, I neared Apocalypsa, the bar owned by Kadja's girlfriend, Victoria. Okay, so it was. That is, yes, Victoria is our girlfriend. The blazing lights and loud crowds of the pubs and restaurants that lined wide streets gave way entirely to dark shadows as I ducked round the corner of a building into a long, narrow alleyway. At the end, blood-red bricks formed the outline of an enormous wolf upon the wall, beneath which a solid black cast-iron door stood firm, practically blending in with the alleyway at night. Near the entrance lingered a group of drunken, middle-aged men. At first I thought they were Garu. They don't look middle-aged. That's why I laughed. At first I thought they were Garu, but as I neared, I saw they were humans, no doubt returning... Oh, no, soccer hooligans. Returning from the football match and stopping to urinate in the alleyway. Nice. Catching sight of me, they began to wolf whistle. Get it? The irony of which was not lost on me. I love it. Rats. Why? Ooh. Let's flip them off. Let's flip them off. Let's do it. The first time I played Fallout New Vegas, I did that just to see if it was possible. Yeah, but same. And now I always do it. There's an overlap between Fallout and WoD fans. It's Fallout and WoD fans. I'm a huge Fallout fan. I love it. The rapper is doing the pose of Eminem to that one meme when he's throwing around at you. Yeah. That's absolutely what it is. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, God. I flipped them off. Oh, this only made them laugh as they mocked me. My rage grew. Well, I can't beat up the werewolf who's a racist, but I could beat up these guys. I hope. My fury turned up a notch at their idiocy. I tried to duck inside, but one of them grabbed my arm. Looks like it's just you and me. The slurred, lascivious tone made me shudder as I tried to shove him off, but he just gripped my arm tighter as the others laughed raucously. Didn't you come to this country to be a whore, or are you going to try to convert us? He twisted my arm viciously. Ow, my health. Ow, you're hurting my health. He twisted my arm viciously, empowered by his friends who laughed even harder as a rage suffused through me with a wrenching ferocity. Ooh, let's stay human. Just to see what happens. I had to get away. I tried to get away. I just want to see what happens, okay? I attempted to twist away, but I could not shake him off. Oh, come on. He gripped tighter. Increase my rage, minus another health. Ow. Ow. I might, instead of doing the Depresso Espresso, I might be doing the I'm dead speed run. He gripped tighter, causing me to wince with the pain as a rage roared through me. I delivered a swift jab to his balls with my knee, and he let out a high-pitched yelp. My tenders. His grip loosened as I at last wrenched my arm free. Ducking away, I quickly raced into the bar as my mind twisted with fury. That was the smart choice. Was it? That's not what I was going for, but thank you, game. Oh my god. I need to shift, though, at some point and regenerate some health. That was the smart choice. One werewolf versus a group of humans would have ended badly for them. I'm at 3 rage. Yay. Apocalypsa. A Gothic-style bar lined the wall immediately in front of the entrance. The vibrant, multicolored liquids on the black wood shelves behind glowing in the dim light that softly illuminated the place. Cast iron stools and tables lined the wide space, which would be soon filled with the rowdy, inebriated Garu who came to party at Apocalypsa. At the far end, an archway led to labyrinthian hallways in which there were tucked small, secluded rooms where the Garu could conduct tribe business. I occasionally joined the other glasswalkers, because I, too, am a glasswalker. Have I mentioned that? A small bevy of laptops marked the rooms where my tribe could be found. Thankfully, our interactions had already largely taken place online, so my Harano state had not affected our relationship too markedly. That's so valid and relatable. Above the bar itself hung small, faded marionettes suspended from the ceiling that smiled eerily down at bar patrons. The place certainly had character. I like it. I like the art a lot. I like this place. I would go to this place. We say here in Germany, I would get a Stammtisch here. The place certainly had character. A new Garu who came to the city often recognized me as the bartender at that bar with the creepy puppets. I like puppets. The night was still early and the bar was fairly empty aside from Alexander, my pack leader, a few Garu I vaguely recognized, and Victoria, who nodded as she finished mixing a pint for Pat, or Dr. Patricia Myers, as she was formerly known, an intense, white-blonde, goth-looking woman who was sitting at the bar. I had befriended Pat when I was studying in Warsaw and reconnected with her after I had returned. What is this music, though? I don't like the droning. I don't like... I hurried behind the bar. Don't like. All the glasswalkers have LAN parties in the back. I mean, I would. They better, actually. Never mind me, actually. I would. They better do that. I'd be disappointed. I hurried behind the bar. I had barely seen her recently, however, and it felt awkward to be friendly now. The back was crowded with cardboard boxes and supplies, and I had to shove a few out of the way to grab my apron from its hook. Pulling it on, I heard Victoria join me. Oh, I can't do a British accent. Don't ask me to. Her London accent seemed especially thick today as she regarded me with concern. Not like you to be late. I can't do a British accent. She leaned against the wall, her tall, slender model's body somehow managing to make it look elegant. What's going on? Nothing. I don't talk to anyone about my feelings ever. There were some drunken assholes outside, but I just ignored them. Her face sagged with relief. Well, thank Luna for that. Last thing I need is to tell Kaja her niece got into a street brawl with some humans. She turned to go. Come on, we better get this night started. Oh, God. Apocalypsa, another wild night at Apocalypsa, mixing drinks and serving the rowdy Garu. I could bring Pat and Alexander their drinks or take a short break with Victoria amidst the loud music and boozy chaos. Let's talk to Victoria. She looks nice. I like her. Urban unrest. During a lull in the madness of the night, I managed to grab a short break. Leaning back against the counter, I took a deep breath and closed my eyes, feeling the cool steel pressing into my lower back. Victoria joined me. Victoria joined me, leaning back as well as she let out an overdramatic sigh. Fuck me, I thought we'd never have a break. Tonight seemed especially busy. Tonight seems more swamped than usual, I observed. Victoria looked out over the crowded bar, her brow furrowing slightly. You know, something seems off tonight. She gave a quick shake of her head. Not even tonight, really. Just the past few months, things have been really strange. I recalled things I had seen online as I slowly responded. You're not wrong. In the Warsaw groups I'm in online, things have felt different, more hostile? She instantly nodded. Hostile? That's spot on. My terrible British accent coming in for all of you to laugh at. You know, I also can't help wondering if it has something to do with the triad. Of course, we know that since the worm has been ascendant, everything has been off the rails. And in the city, especially, the wild has always had less of a hold. She paused. But even the Weaver, whose spirits of order typically thrive in the city, has seemed different recently. What do you think is the reason? The Weaver. A little of column A, a little of column B, she shrugged. I think the worm and... I think that's supposed to say... I think one of these is supposed to be Weaver. I think the worm and Weaver both are being overactive, which spells trouble. I think one of those is supposed to be Weaver. I think the worm and the worm are being overactive. Hungry Names has a creepy puppet, too. I hadn't associated werewolf with creepy puppets before. Well, start. Well, start, Craig. And she hesitated, avoiding my gaze. I think it's centered around all the recent changes in the city. You think it's because of the refugees? She hesitated. In a way. I think the worm is doing what worm does, taking advantage of human greed and cruelty and using it to cause further division. With the Garu. An uncharacteristic frown appeared on Victoria's face. What makes me most convinced that things are especially bad with the worm is the Garu. There's been something really off about them. Before I could ask more, a customer approached the bar, drunkenly leaning against it as they began loudly singing the shot song. Shots, 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 shots. I don't know if that's the shots song. It's the only song I know about shots. Yeah, but again, Hirano. Victoria pushed herself off from the bar. All right, enough of the doom and gloom. We've got people to serve. Her usual cheerfulness returned as she headed over to help him, but I could not shake it off so easily. Sweet. A real your clan or your clan moment. Another wild night at Apocalypse, mixing drinks and blah, blah, blah. Let's meet with Alexander. He's our pack leader, right? Let's meet with him. Let's jib-jab with him. Balancing a drink carefully through the wild, carousing crowd, I made my way towards the back of the bar where Alexander sat alone at one of the tables. His long navy blue overcoat blended in with the shadows while his eyes were fixed on the book in his hands, only looking up when I brought him his Cosmopolitan. Cosmo? The first time he had ordered his drink choice had surprised me, but his disdainful expression when I had questioned it had instantly shut me up. I had joined his pack when I first came to Warsaw. Do not drink shame. If you are a person who does not like the taste of alcohol but likes fruity cocktails because it masks the taste of alcohol and makes you, feel fancy, do not drink shame. I am very boring when it comes to drinks. I order margaritas and mostly nothing else. Ooh. Oh, this is interesting. Ah, this is a okay, this is not 5th edition. This is a patron spirit of our pack. I like it, though. My God. The baleful otter was known for being fun-loving and mischievous, but coordinated savage fighters in battle. The arcane lynx was notable for its fierce independence and determination. I like it. The immortal peacock were confident, bordering on arrogance with a penchant for skillful tactics. I like the arcane lynx. Fierce independence and determination. I like that. Baleful otter is also really funny, but let's do arcane lynx. I like. That's neat. I like it. Only a small number of lynx remained in Europe, fighting for survival. I could relate. It's true. Alexander had only been leading the pack for a few months when I had joined. Although his features appeared mostly Korean, Kaja had told me he was half Polish and had spent his entire life here in Warsaw. He intrigued me. I guess. He intrigued me. He had always seemed set apart from the other Garu with his cool, collected appearance, yet I had caught glimpses of a fierce rage in his blue eyes, which made me feel that perhaps he was the same as the rest of us. Alexander indicated the seat next to him, interrupting my thoughts. Do you have a moment? Yes, of course, because you intrigue me. As my pack leader, I could not really deny a direct request. I glanced briefly at the bar, but Victoria seemed to have it covered for now as I sat down. Leaning in slightly, his tall frame half bent over the table, he began speaking in a low tone as he got straight to the point. There has been some trouble within the Sept recently, a divide that has only worsened in the past few months. Maybe it's the fascist. Maybe? Alona has asked me to investigate further, and she suggested you may be able to help as well. This is not something I would say. Why me? I'd be like, yes. Me? Why? I said in surprise. You are not well connected to the Sept. I winced. It was true, but it was surprisingly hurt. I winced. It was true, but it was surprisingly hurtful to hear. So who exactly is causing this divide? I asked, although I cynically thought that I had a fairly good idea of who it might be. Alexander's black... Okay, hang on. Does Alexander have black eyes or blue eyes? Because in the previous... Wait, let me go back. Scroll up. Yet I had caught a glimpse of fierce rage in his blue eyes. Scroll down. Black eyes. Oh my god, he's Edward Cullen. I need to... Blue or black? And also this is... But it surprisingly hurt to hear. Alexander's black eyes, that are sometimes blue, momentarily flared with a hint of some emotion I could not quite place as he coolly answered. I am assuming you know of Andrei Skarnitsky. Yes, I do know of him quite a lot. He's awful. I said with a sigh as Alexander pursed his lips. Unfortunately, it does. Alexander leaned forward, a piece of his dark, silky hair. Well, let's see if it stays dark or if he turns blonde. Dark, silky hair falling across his face as he spoke. Listen, Samira, I believe that your particular help in this matter will be invaluable. Before I could respond, an intoxicated Garu stumbled by, bumping into her chair as his drink splashed all over the ground. He looked down at it morosely before drunkenly careening off. Thankful for the interruption, I stood up. I should probably get back to work, I said hastily. Can I let you know later? Alexander nodded. Of course, although I must caution that time is of the essence. Please let me know by tomorrow morning at the latest. I quickly agreed before squeezing my way back through the raucous masses of Garu to the bar. Despite myself, I could not resist casting a final glance back at Alexander. His features, usually filled with an aloof confidence, now appeared startlingly fierce as his intense blue eyes stared unseeing across the crowded room. They're blue again, guys. Keep track. Someone keep track. Oh. Whoopsie. Clearly he has heterochromia, and this wasn't an oversight. Yeah, for sure. Werewolf eyes could change color. I'll allow it. I mean, I would. As a storyteller, I'd be like, I'll allow it. I would allow it in a shapeshifter's form, not necessarily in your Hamid form. Clearly, you just lose a few points of humanity. Happens all the time. The vampire. Oh my god, he has mood ring eyes. That's great. I wonder if he was written to be of a different race, different character, and part of it got rewritten. Probably. But hopefully these are things that people will notice right in the Steam page when you can download the demo so that they can be fixed before the game's released. That's what's important about releasing a demo. It helps. Talk about grim tidings. Pat. Pat was our friend that we met when we were studying in university. Oh, this picture kind of reminds me of, oh no, I don't remember her name. Your girlfriend in Shadows of New York. I don't remember her name. Grim tidings. Heavy rock music blasted in the background as I poured another beer for Pat. Handing it to her, she pounded it down before letting out a deep exhale as she heavily set the now empty glass back in front of me. What's that, your fourth beer? I say, judging you. I said, trying to lighten the mood. Fifth, actually. I expected a joke, but her expression remained serious. Because what's funny about that? Because that's not a joke. I leaned on my elbows facing Pat. Okay, tell me what's going on. Pat swirled the heavy glass easily in her slim hand, staring down it moodily. How do you stare moodily? I don't suppose you've heard about Emmerich. I recalled the name Andre had said earlier as my heart dropped. The Garu who was killed. Pat's glossy eyes turned dark. Oh no, he was one of my tribe. That's the one. He was a glasswalker and a friend of mine. I hesitated, debating whether to just walk away or offer condolences, but Pat was already speaking. Pat leaned in closer to me, her expression serious. We're pretty sure his death was caused by a bane. A bane? I asked in confusion, recalling that Andre had mentioned his death had something to do with the refugees. Samira! Victoria's voice carried over the noise as I turned to see her motioning to the gathering swarms of waiting customers. Sorry, Pat, I've got to get back to work, I said distractedly. Wait, before you go. She hesitated for a moment, then plowed ahead. I really need some help with this. Do you think you could meet me tomorrow at La Zienki Park? I mean, I said I'd meet Alexander tomorrow. So I don't think I can. I'm sorry. No, I can't remember her name. No, I don't remember her name. I keep wanting to say Hope, but Hope was the Malkavian. Hope is not who I meant. I don't know. I don't think I can, I responded hesitantly, feeling a rising sense of panic. Pat seemed to pick up on this just as quickly as she spoke. If you can't, I understand too. Just let me know tomorrow morning, all right? Damn it. A gang of Garu began yelling at me for a round of beers, and I quickly agreed to text her the next day before hurrying back over. Closing time. Turn all of the lights on. I don't remember all the words of that song. Every boy and every girl. The night eventually slowed down to a halt. We poured the final few drinks for the remaining stragglers before locking up the bar. I said my goodbyes to Victoria and set off home, my mind running over the events of the night, especially Alexander and Pat's proposals. And I felt happy. No. No. For the first time in a while, my heart felt strangely light. Damn. From home to home. As I lay in bed once more, Luna's light streamed gently through the open window while my mind churned with the events of the day. I tried to calm the thoughts, to perhaps even fall asleep to a dreamless night for once, but it was not meant to be, for as the clamoring thoughts turned to a murmur that ebbed and flowed, it was not sleep that took their place, but a memory. Where are we going? Tariq asked. I looked at him in surprise, shifting the weight of the baby in my small arms. After our village had been bombed by the Taliban, wielding weapons gifted to them years earlier by the United States, we had left the rubble of our home and the corpses of our parents and fled. My older brother should have made the decisions from then on as the man of the family, but he had been in shock, barely speaking since that night, and I had been forced to carry our younger brother Katsim across the rugged northern terrain. We're going to safety, I said with false confidence. I didn't really know where we were going exactly, but I sensed somehow it would protect us. Tariq just nodded, as if my answer had been enough to feed his momentary glimpse of clarity, before subsiding once more into silence. I continued onward, the terrain becoming harsher and steeper as my thin legs carried us over rocky steps that turned into hills that turned into mountains. As we crested a peak, I drew in a sharp breath. The view momentarily painted a picture over my inner turmoil as I stared in awe at the valley before us. Verdant fields caught between two mountain ranges of stone and snow and rubble. An azure river that matched the daytime sky ran lazily through it, a small village nestled alongside the flowing waters. Walnut trees and apple orchards dotted the valley floor, the fragrant scent of fruits faintly perfuming the pure mountain air. There, the place that was calling me. Safety. Safety. Is the park beautiful? I have never heard of it. No happiness allowed. No, not in this game. Safety. I sensed it. I sensed those within had the strength to protect us from it all. Turning excitedly to share the good news with Tariq, I looked around at the now empty plateau. Where did he go? I continued onwards. As if in a trance, I continued onwards into the valley. Perhaps he was on his way there too. As I searched, I felt a sudden emptiness in my arms. I stared down at the place where Katsim had just lain. Ooh, spiral. I looked frantically around, dropping to my knees, scratching in the rubble, when the ground below me lit up with a sickly glow as I turned my head to stare up at the night sky. The starlit galaxy above transformed before my eyes with a frizzen of static, like a glitched out computer screen. What is that? As the stars began buzzing around like thousands of tiny flies, circling the ragged, gaping black hole where the full moon had previously resided. I'm losing my voice. What was in there? A faint, raspy, scraping noise rattled ominously from the skies as I stared in terrified fascination. A single insectoid claw curled delicately out of the black circle as terror filled my heart, the fear grasping frantically at my mind in screaming waves. More claws emerged, embedding themselves into the night sky as with a horrific screech, a massive, inhuman face filled with the unnatural gap. It stared down directly at me from the sky above as a wide, malevolent grin spread from end to end, revealing violently red, sharpened teeth, too many for its mouth. I froze in fear. I couldn't move, couldn't speak, couldn't do anything except stare helplessly at the writhing dark shape that wriggled out of the hole. Its carapace of matted black fur was covered in thousands of oozing, gaping holes. It opened its maw with another piercing screech as it dove towards me. I could no longer move. Only watch as it opened its maw. Its hot breath blasted into me as I felt it swallow me whole. I awoke, sadder than when I went to bed. Drenched in sweat, Luna returned to the sky. I quickly stood and shoved the curtains closed. Another sleepless night. Did it. Sadder than before. I didn't end at 5, Hirano. I was trying to. This is the end of the demo. You have completed a chapter. Let's see how many players made the same choices as you. You encountered a worm spirit in the form of a spider. 88%, pretty basic. That's me. You entered the cairn by jumping over the wall. 45%. I mean, there was a 50-50 toss up there. You ran away from the fight. 76% made that choice too. That's surprising because I think if I was playing by myself, I would have just went ham. You had a nightmare. 17%. That's interesting. Why did I have a nightmare and everyone else didn't? I don't know if I understand that entirely. Is it the decisions I made that led me to having a nightmare? I don't know. For Hirano, we'll write as many... How many brothers can one character lose? For Hirano, we'll write as many brothers as we need. I love it. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching and listening to me be silly like I always am. Thank you so much for supporting me and encouraging me to, 1, make the bad decisions both in this game and in the Book of Hungry Names, and 2, encouraging me to give in to Hirano and give in to the bad impulses and make maybe the decisions that people wouldn't necessarily make because they want to have a quote-unquote good playthrough. Thank you so much. I'll be back tomorrow around this time, 5 p.m. Central Eastern Time or 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time if you're in the United States, to continue on playing the Book of Hungry Names until we finish that, because I am so excited about it and I love it so very, very much. And if you miss any of those, you can see them on YouTube. This will be going on YouTube. All the silliness that I do here on WOD Twitch will go on YouTube. And thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow if you're available. Bye-bye.